What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a review of Week 13 on DraftKings NFL, as well as looking at our picks for Week 14. Kind of an interesting week that we had here last week. Had some late value, some injuries come on that wasn't there earlier in the week, but overall pretty nice week. Had some good games to take a look at, and an up and down week on some picks. So let's look at Week 13, what we had going. First of all, I had the stack of Cam Newton to Devin Funchess and bringing it back with Ted Ginn. This game did not go how I wanted it to. There was points scored, but I tell you what, those New Orleans running backs just continue, Ingram and Kamara, to both exceed value all the time, and they kind of sucked up all the fantasy goodness. Was hoping it would go to more of the receivers, just didn't happen. But Cam Newton ends up hitting about what we might expect. 21.2 expected, got us to 20.4. Kind of an up and down game. It was okay, wasn't great. Didn't have the breakout that I was hoping for. Devin Funchess as well, 15.7. He got us 16 points, so he exceeded value just barely. Basically the same as Cam, right on the number. Nothing too bad, nothing too great. And Ted Ginn was kind of the bust. 10.3 was our expected. Only got us 5.3 points, as I said. Most of that went to the running backs. Went a little contrarian here, trying to do something different. Don't think it was a bad pick. The results were so-so, but New Orleans ended up having one of their corners back. I was thinking both of them might have been out, so some of the late news may have changed this spot a little bit, but overall, did like the way the game flowed. Just was hoping for more of the points to go to guys like Ginn and Thomas in that way. At the tight end, had Jared Cook, who kind of busted this week on the flow chart. 12 points expectation, got us 1.9. The whole Oakland team was kind of weird. We got like a 75-yard run from Lynch. Things just kind of went in some different directions with Amari and Crabtree both out. Thought a lot of the targets would go to Jared Cook. It just did not come to fruition. However, on the other flow chart, tight end, Hunter Henry, was looking for 9.5 points, got us 15.1. Really just a solid game. Antonio Gates had a few catches in there too, could have been even better. But overall, Hunter Henry came through for us, did what we needed him to. Cordero Patterson, he was one who did good on Oakland. 9.2 was our expected points, got us 13.8. Didn't quite get us the 100-yard bonus, didn't quite get in the end zone. Could have been an even better game, but was getting looked at. And like I said, he was kind of my GPP. If I was going to pick one of those receivers, I was going to go with him. His ownership was a little bit lower, and what could have been, but still did get some good targets, and overall did just fine. Deshaun Jackson, another kind of bust here, looking for 12.4, only got us 4.4 points. He's kind of a yo-yo type receiver. That's why we play him in GPPs. But in the Tampa Bay game, really all the action went to Brate, and his game back with Winston, and Deshaun Jackson just kind of fell on the other end of that. So what are we looking at for this week? This week's game stack, we're going to kind of target kind of a unique situation of two pretty bad teams, but maybe going against each other can help them out. So I'm looking at Jimmy Garoppolo going to Marquise Goodwin and bringing that back with DeAndre Hopkins in this San Francisco versus Houston game. We've got a 43.5 point Vegas total with a 3-point spread. Garoppolo threw for 293 yards last week, 70% completion rate, and 0 touchdowns. So kind of a quote-unquote bust if guys played him. I think you look at those box scores, they don't look great, but you dig into those numbers and think, okay, he's going to have all these attempts. He's throwing for 300 yards almost, 70% completion. That looks good. He's going to have some touchdowns. All right, that's unsustainable without 0 touchdowns. And Goodwin last week was targeted 8 times. He caught all 8 of them for 99 yards, so he just missed the bonus, the 100-yard bonus. Obviously did not have a touchdown, but got 8 targets. Garoppolo was looking his way, was syncing up with him, and here we go. We're coming up against Houston, whose defense has been atrocious against QBs and wide receivers since their injuries. Look at the opponent points they've given up, this year. 24, 23, 21, 33, 20, 41, 17, 42, 14, 36. They're letting themselves get into shootouts, going back and forth, and here comes Garoppolo, who's an improvement at quarterback for the 49ers. He's got a receiver here he's kind of linking up with, and we got a defense that's allowing a lot of points. So I think it's a good situation to try to capitalize on, maybe not at such a high ownership. And Hopkins is the target monster in the NFL. I mean, just look at these last few games. 14, 10, 9, 14, 16, 11 targets. It doesn't matter who his quarterback is. He just continues to get volume, continue to want to play him. And here we get a San Francisco 49 team 49ers defense that has given up excessive points to the wide receiver position all year. And just look at that. That's on the right side of that chart versus wide receiver. Sure, 18 and 20 points the last 2 weeks, but 45 points, 28, 26, 24, 25. Had that stretch there of 38, 48, 55. I mean, they're capable of giving up a lot of points to a wide receiver position. And here comes maybe the most talented receiver in the game right now in DeAndre Hopkins, who's going to get all these targets against them. So, again, we have two defenses that are poor, two receivers and offenses here. I think they can take advantage of that and maybe give us a little bit higher scoring game than what we're expecting. So on the tight end side of things, we look at Austin Seferian-Jenkins this week. So ASJ is in a game with a 41.5 point Vegas total with just a 1 point spread. And we're going up against Denver, the quote-unquote no-fly zone the last few years that is no more. They've given up the most DK points per game to the tight end position this year somehow. I don't know how that's possible. I don't know what happened, but it's the case. And ASJ has seen targets fluctuate, but he's been getting looks. I mean, he had 3, 7, 9, 2, 5, 5, 11, 8. Yeah, you don't like to see those 2 and 3 target games, but we also see there that he's had 0 touchdowns in 5 straight games, yet he had 7 and 9 targets in there. So he's getting looks. This Jets team, just came off beating or playing against Kansas City there. Yeah, they did win, and it was kind of a shootout, right? So this offense is playing well. Joshua McCown's playing well. ASJ can be a part of that. Going up against Denver, who has, like I said, just given up a lot of points to the position. So I like the spot. I like the player, I like the talent, and just think this is an area we can attack. Another individual to look at is actually Jason Witten. Old Jason Witten continues to be a factor. We got a 41.5 point Vegas total with a 4 point spread here. And Witten just continues to see good volume. I mean, 5 targets, 7, 1, 7, 1, 5, 4, 10, down to 9, 13 there at the bottom. So he's had some low target games in there, some 1 target games that we don't like. But you're going to have to take some of that with tight end position. And this last game we see there, that 9 targets with 7 receptions, 59 yards, and a touchdown, that was against the Giants this year. And for his career, not really for his career, but his last 6 games against the Giants, he's averaged 14 DK points per game. So he plays up for the Giants. He's playing well. The Giants are terrible against the tight end this year. We've been attacking them pretty much all year, along with Cleveland. And it just seems like a good spot where, Dak has not been playing very well. Maybe he gets it going here, looks for Witten against a defense that struggled against the position. You got your security blanket there. I'm looking to play some Jason Witten this week, hoping for at least 14 DK points, maybe some more this week as we get into it. So how about some value wide receivers this week? Well, I'm looking at Corey Coleman going against the trend here, right? Because we ran a 40.5 point Vegas total with a 4 point spread, but this has been all about the return of Josh Gordon. All the ownership's heading that way. A lot of people dipped their toe in, had pretty good success last week. Seems like everyone's talking about it now, and everyone wants in on Josh Gordon. And I don't disagree with that. We're in a great matchup. He looked great. Happy for him to be back. But Corey Coleman hasn't been any slouch. Gordon had 11 targets last week. Coleman had 4. Caught none of them. Okay, so if you're looking at box scores, Corey Coleman's just out of it, right? No one wants to play him. But I'd look for both those to regress. I don't know that Coleman's only going to get 4 or that Gordon's always going to get 11. You look at Coleman with 8 and 11 targets prior to his, to Gordon getting there. Maybe this levels out a little bit. And it's not like Green Bay's defense has been that great. They've been poor against wide receivers. So I think both guys can have a good game here. Coleman is cheaper. He's going to be way less owned. And like I say, he has had games with 11 and 8 targets since he's returned from injury. And I just like him as a player, so I'm going to probably be kind of pivoting here in GPPs to Coleman, while everyone else wants to kind of go to Josh Gordon. Another player to look at is Michael Crabtree. We're in a 47.5 point Vegas total with a 4 point spread, so we like the Vegas total there. And speaking of returns, here comes Crabtree ready to bounce back after his suspension, after his crazy fight with Denver. We have potentially no Amari Cooper again. So again, just like last week with Cordero Patterson, and Jared Cook, we're looking for where these targets are going to go. This is a good offense, or it has been. Here they are in a pretty good point total on the Vegas side. And again, we've got no Amari Cooper. They're going up against the Kansas City defense special team that, again, just got in a shootout with the Jets, right? I mean, I don't think this defense is as good as what we thought it might have been. And Oakland put up 31 points last time they played. That was Amari Cooper's only good game of the season when he caught 3 touchdowns and had 200-some yards. Well, if he's out, Crabtree didn't get any of that love during that last game. I think he's come back from suspension, wants to prove himself against a vulnerable defense where, people hopefully won't be looking to play him as much as what they kind of should be. He's had a couple of duds here, and here we go. We're in a good spot against a poor defense. We want to attack. So I'm looking at Michael Crabtree. So that's it, guys, for this week. Good luck to everyone playing in Week 14. Hopefully somebody can take down some good money in a GPP. If you guys could, like, subscribe, comment here on the video. You can follow me anytime on Twitter at @InPlayUp. Appreciate you guys viewing and liking here. And we'll see you guys here next week reviewing Week 14. Looking forward to Week 15.